Welcome to Mind Matters, where we explore practical mental health strategies and therapeutic insights. Today, we're diving into a powerful and often misunderstood emotion, anger. Specifically, we're going to talk about the concept of externalizing anger, what it means, the function it serves, and most importantly, how you can harness it in healthy and productive ways. Anger is a natural emotion, and contrary to what many people believe, it isn't something that should be avoided or suppressed. In fact, anger serves a critical function in helping us protect ourselves, set boundaries, and assert our needs. However, when anger is externalized in destructive ways, whether through aggression, outbursts, or passive aggressive behavior, it can harm relationships, damage our well being, and perpetuate the very problems we're trying to solve. In this video, we'll explore what externalization of anger looks like, why it happens, and how you can channel your anger into actions that are constructive rather than destructive. Let's start by understanding what anger is. Anger is an emotional response that typically arises when we perceive an injustice, threat, or violation of our personal boundaries. It's often triggered by feelings of frustration, fear, or helplessness. But why do we externalize anger? Externalization refers to the process of projecting internal emotional experiences outward, often through actions, expressions, or physical responses. When we externalize anger, we might lash out, yell, or even become violent. This happens because anger is a high-energy emotion, and externalizing it provides a form of emotional release. In some cases, externalization of anger can serve a protective function. For instance, in moments of danger, externalizing anger can help us assert boundaries or defend ourselves. However, when we regularly externalize anger in unhealthy ways, such as yelling at loved ones, throwing objects, or engaging in hostile behavior, it can damage our relationships, create ongoing conflict, and make it harder to resolve the underlying issues. Practical tip: the key is to recognize when anger is building and understand how it's being externalized. Anger can show up in body language, tone of voice, or even through passive-aggressive behaviors like silent treatment or sarcasm. Anger is often seen as a negative emotion, but it actually serves several important functions. Understanding these functions is the first step toward harnessing anger in a healthy way. 1. Self-protection. Anger acts as a warning system. When we perceive a threat, whether physical or emotional, anger is often the first response. It's our mind and body's way of preparing us to take action and protect ourselves. This is why anger is closely tied to the fight or flight response. In this context, externalizing anger can serve as a form of self-defense. 2. Boundary setting. Anger can also signal that a boundary has been crossed. If someone disrespects us, takes advantage of us, or violates our personal space, anger arises as a way to communicate that something is wrong. Externalizing this anger can sometimes be necessary to enforce boundaries, but it must be done assertively rather than aggressively. 3. Motivation for change. Anger is a high-energy emotion that can propel us to take action. It can motivate us to change a situation that feels unjust or unacceptable. When channeled productively, anger can inspire us to stand up for ourselves, seek justice, or address problems in our lives or communities. 4. Emotional release. Anger can feel overwhelming when it's bottled up. Externalizing it, through yelling, physical outbursts, or even venting, can provide a sense of relief. However, this release is often short-lived, and when anger is released destructively, it can create more problems than it solves. Practical tip: the key to managing anger is to learn how to recognize its function in the moment. Ask yourself, why am I angry? Is it because I feel threatened, disrespected, or frustrated? What boundary needs to be protected, or what change needs to happen? While externalizing anger can sometimes be protective, it can also be destructive if not managed properly. Let's look at some of the dangers of uncontrolled anger. 1. Damaged relationships. When anger is externalized in harmful ways, it often damages relationships. Yelling, name-calling, or aggressive behavior can hurt the people we care about and make it harder to communicate effectively. Over time, this can erode trust and create a cycle of conflict. 2. Perpetuating conflict. Externalizing anger without addressing the root cause of the problem often leads to ongoing conflict. If we react to anger by lashing out instead of calmly addressing the issue, we're more likely to escalate the situation and prolong the argument. 3. Impact on mental health. Uncontrolled anger can take a toll on our mental and emotional well being. Constant externalization of anger can lead to feelings of guilt, shame, or regret, especially if it leads to hurting others. It can also increase stress and anxiety, as unresolved anger keeps us in a heightened state of emotional arousal. Number 4. Physical health. Consequences. Anger doesn't just affect our minds, it affects our bodies too. Chronic anger has been linked to increased blood pressure, heart problems, and weakened immune function. When anger is externalized through physical aggression or destructive behavior, it can also result in injury to oneself or others. Practical tip: if you notice that your anger is leading to damaged relationships or ongoing conflict, take a step back. Try to identify patterns. Are there specific situations or people that trigger externalized anger? Awareness is the first step toward change. The good news is that anger doesn't have to be destructive. In fact, it can be one of the most powerful tools for positive change if you know how to harness it. 1. Channel anger into constructive action. Anger is often a signal that something needs to change. Instead of lashing out, use that energy to take constructive action. Whether it's advocating for yourself, addressing an injustice, or setting a boundary, anger can fuel productive change. Practical tip: when you feel anger rising, pause for a moment and ask yourself, what action can I take that will actually improve the situation? This could involve having a calm, assertive conversation with someone or taking steps to address the root cause of your frustration. 2. Use physical movement to release anger. One of the most effective ways to release anger without externalizing it destructively is through physical movement. Exercise, such as running, weightlifting, or even punching a pillow, can help burn off excess anger while giving your mind time to process the emotion. Practical tip: the next time you feel overwhelmed by anger, take a walk, hit the gym, or engage in any physical activity that allows you to release that pent-up energy in a healthy way. Number 3. Practice assertive communication. Many people externalize anger because they don't know how to express their feelings in an assertive, non-aggressive way. Learning assertive communication skills can help you express your anger without alienating others. This involves calmly stating your needs, using I statements, and maintaining a respectful tone. Practical tip: practice saying, "I feel angry because," and follow it with a specific explanation of what's bothering you and what you'd like to change. For example, "I feel angry when I'm interrupted during meetings because it makes me feel disrespected. I'd like to be able to finish my thoughts before others respond." 4. Recognize anger as a signal, not a solution. Anger is an emotional signal that something isn't right, but it's not the solution to the problem. By recognizing anger as a signal, you can use it to gain insight into what's bothering you and take action to address the root cause. Practical tip: when you feel anger rising, try to shift your mindset from, "How do I express this anger?" to, "What is this anger telling me about what I need?" 5. Mindfulness and emotional awareness. One of the most powerful ways to harness anger is through mindfulness and emotional awareness. Mindfulness involves being fully present with your emotions without judging them. When you practice mindfulness, you can observe your anger as it arises and choose how to respond rather than reacting impulsively. Practical tip: try a simple mindfulness exercise when you're angry. Take a few deep breaths and notice the physical sensations of anger in your body: tightness in your chest, clenched fists, rapid breathing. Acknowledge the emotion without acting on it right away, and give yourself time to decide how to respond. For many people, managing anger requires ongoing effort and practice. Here are some long-term strategies for managing anger effectively. 1. Therapy and counseling. Working with a therapist can help you explore the underlying causes of your anger and develop personalized strategies for managing it. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT in particular, is highly effective in helping individuals reframe negative thought patterns that contribute to anger. Practical tip: if anger is interfering with your relationships or well-being, consider reaching out to a therapist who specializes in anger management. 2. Journaling. Keeping a journal can help you process feelings of anger in a safe, private space. Writing about what triggers your anger, how you responded, and what you could do differently next time can help you gain insight into your emotions and develop healthier coping strategies. Practical tip: set aside time each day to write down your thoughts and feelings about anger. Reflect on what you've learned and how you can apply those insights in future situations. 3. Regular physical activity. Regular exercise not only improves your physical health, but also helps regulate your mood. By incorporating physical activity into your routine, you can reduce overall stress levels and prevent anger from building up. Practical tip: make physical activity a regular part of your life. Whether it's daily walks, yoga, or more intense workouts, find something that helps you release tension and manage anger. Anger is a powerful emotion, but it doesn't have to be destructive. By understanding the function of anger, recognizing when and why it's being externalized, and learning how to harness it constructively, you can transform anger into a tool for positive change. Thank you for watching Mind Matters. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Remember, managing anger is a journey, and it's okay to seek help along the way.